What's going on YouTube? My name is GinJTCG or Chris, and today I'm back with another Rogue deck video. This one is going to revolve around Hydrapple EX, a very underrated Stage 2 Pokemon in my opinion, with the Ripening Charge ability. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic Grass Energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon, and then if you do that, you heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. So when you're playing a beefy Stage 2 like this one, you can heal some major damage with a couple Hydrapples down. With the Syrup Storm attack, you do 30 damage plus 30 more for each Grass Energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So when you've got Energy Acceleration with Ripening Charge, as well as Teal masks Ogerpon, Teal Dance to accelerate energy, and then draw a card for your turn, you can get an insane amount of energy in play very, very quickly. And this deck kind of reminds me of, honestly, I think the first somewhat competitive deck that I played in my life when I got into the game. That was Shadow Rider Calyrex. Just the way that you accelerate energy so much and so frequently per turn, and then, you know, you draw some cards, you get some good healing with Hydrapple. It has a very similar playstyle, and obviously the attack is very, very similar. Now, in this deck, I think something interesting to note is we got two different Dipplins in the deck. One of them is Festival Lead Dipplin, where if Festival Grounds is in play and this Pokemon uses an attack and then knocks out, you could attack twice. If you knock out the first Pokemon, you could get another attack on whatever Pokemon your opponent promotes after that. And Do the Wave is a solid attack. I mean, you could swing for 100 damage. If you're up against something like a Mimikyu, you can use this to take that KO if you've got a full bench, and then get some good chip damage down on another Pokemon. And we're playing two copies of Festival Grounds in this deck just to take advantage of Dipplin. And I know one of the decks that's been tearing up the format recently is Terra Box alongside Raging Bolt. So to deal with those, I'm actually playing the other Dipplin, and that's why I think Hydrapple is such a strong card right now. This Dipplin has the coded attack, and well, you do 20 damage, but during your opponent's next turn, you prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon. So when you're up against, Terra Box, sure, could get the job done with Knockdown. I mean, you do have 90 HP, so you can live Knockdown's attack. I believe it gets 2-shot, but it could buy you some time, get some great chip damage done, and buy you a turn. But more importantly, against Raging Bolt, or decks that really don't have any evolutions whatsoever, yeah, you could just rock with Dipplin and kind of close out a cheeky game that way. So between both Dipplins, Hydrapples, and Ogerpon, which also functions as a great attacker, there's some teeth to this one. You got a bunch of different options. The deck seems very linear. It's a very straightforward deck. It's not a complicated list, but the abilities that you have, the attackers you have in this deck allows you to kind of swing well into a bunch of different matchups, making this deck very versatile. On top of those Pokemon, we're playing one copy of Budew with Itchy Pollen just to buy us some time, one copy of Mew EX for the restart ability, but also genome hacking. You never know when that clutches up, and with the insane amount of energy acceleration with Ripening Charge you have, you can set up Mew very easily, and even Fezandipiti with Cruel Arrow could be a very underrated attack if you're in an awful situation and you gotta get the job done, but more importantly, you have Flip the Script to draw some cards. Now, for the supporter count, I am going with as much consistency as possible. We're taking it back to the basics with 4 copies of Professor's Research as well as 4 copies of Iono, just to make sure that every turn we're kind of drawing or discarding and getting a new hand and getting as many playable cards down as possible. For the items for the deck, we're running a whole lot of Pokemon Search. We got 4 copies of Nest Ball, 3 copies of Ultra Ball. Between those, we should be able to get down any basic Pokemon or any evolution Pokemon, as well as 4 copies of Bug Catching Set, where we look at the top 7 cards of our deck and then reveal up to 2 in any combination of Grass Pokemon or basic Grass Energy. So with Bug Catching Set plus Ultra Ball, we should have no problem getting out our Hydrapples, Dipplins, or Ogerpons needed to get the deck rolling. I'm only playing 1 copy of Rare Candy in this list just because I am playing 4 copies of the middle evolution, and I know you're probably wondering, like, why am I not playing TM Evo? I think that's because I'm really just looking for the Budew. I kind of like going first in a deck like this and getting Applin down, and then taking an early swing with a Do the Wave Dipplin, or, if we're up against a basic deck, kind of just going in with the coded attack and buying time that way. This deck, you really don't need to rush, and I think with the amount of research and Ogerpons, like we have in the deck, I think finding the 1 candy, it's not the hardest thing in the world. I mean, maybe in the late game you kind of need that to get an Applin straight to Hydrapple, I think, more often, but I think for the most part, just leaving a single prizer in the active with, like, Dipplin and using Do the Wave and just getting some good damage done, even if you don't swing twice, is fine. Just some good chip damage here is really all you need to do. So I'm only opting to play 1 Rare Candy. If I wanted more candies, I think the card I would cut the most is probably going to be Night Stretcher. I mean, we've got a good bit of recycling with this deck with Super Rod as well as Superior Energy Retrieval. Superior Energy Retrieval will bring a whole bunch of energy back in case we had to research a bunch away or a Pokemon with a lot of energy got KO'd. And Super Rod could bring back a bunch of our Pokemon, although we're playing very high counts of everything, so, you know, we could even just get maybe 1 or 2 Hydrapple EXs and then an energy or 2, just because chances are we have a bunch of middle evolutions down, and both middle evolutions are above 60 HP, so I'm not too worried about Phantom Dives taking them out in one turn. Now, the rest of the items we got in the deck is 1 Pal Pad, just in case we do lose any boss's orders or Ionos via research. And then we got, just Counter Catcher. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, between 1 Counter Catcher and 2 boss, I think that's all we need for a deck like this. I mean, that's plenty of Gust. We're trying to look to take those one-shot KOs, whether we're using Do the Wave, whether we're using, you know, Ogerpon, Myriad's Leaf Shower, and getting a bunch of energy attached to both Pokemon, or more importantly, just using Hydrapple and just spreading our energy across the board so there's not any one main target, and then any Hydrapple can swing for massive numbers. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the list. I hope you guys enjoy the deck. I definitely had fun making this one. I can't wait to show you guys how well this deck performs. And before I hop into the video, just wanted to remind everyone that I got that TCG Player affiliate link, in the description down below. So if you're going to TCG Player for any singles, any decks, or any deck accessories for any card game, doesn't matter what, make sure you hop on over to TCG Player via my link, and it supports the channel when you order stuff with that link in a huge way. So thank you so much to everyone who's been doing that. Now, with that being said, let's hop into today's video and see how well Hydrapple EX can do. Welcome to match number 1. We open up with a bit of a rough hand. I mean, we got the Nest Ball, we got the Hydrapple. I guess I forgot to mention we got the Legacy Energy A-Spec, which is going to be solid in a deck like this, just because we're playing, you know, Hydrapple as our primary attacker. So getting Legacy Energy down on that creates a single prize 330 HP Pokemon, which is ridiculous. So with this Nest Ball, I think we are just going to take it easy and going with an Applin. And part of the reason I'm opting to play the single prize Applin the single prize Applin, I meant the Dragon type Applin, is because of that Find a Friend attack. Just searching your deck for a Pokemon and revealing it, I feel like is the best Applin attack there is. There are some other Applins that are like grass types and stuff like that, which I guess you can search out with Bug Catching Set, which is kind of nice, but I think Find a Friend overall is just a little bit better. Now, that being said, I've only done a couple test games, and it didn't seem to be that relevant. That Bug Catching Set couldn't search out that Applin, but if by the end of this, you know, maybe after match 1 or 2, I find that changes a bit, maybe I might switch to 2-2 Applin and have 2 Grass Applins, 2 Dragon Applins, but for the most part, since we're playing high count of Nest Ball, Ultra Ball, stuff like that, I feel like we can get them out regardless, and our Bug Catching Sets can search out many other Pokemon. So we are going to draw into another Grass Energy, which isn't going to do much. My opponent did play the Crispin, and we're watching them play Grass and Psychic Energy. I'm not 100% sure what that could be, so I think I'm just going to Itchy Pollen them and hold the hand. We're both kind of dead drawing here, and hoping we can draw into something a little bit better. At least if I can put them under some item lock pressure, if they top deck like a Nest Ball or Buddy Poffin or something like that, you know, they won't be able to get more Pokemon on the bench. They'll just be setting up Blood Moon or Ursaluna for the manual swing and KO, which is kind of nuts. I guess if that's the case, I'll just evolve into Hydrapple. I could start swinging. I mean, it's not an insane amount of damage, but it's something, right? I don't know. Let's do it. Why not, right? We'll swing for 90. It's better than nothing. You know, we're not really in a 2-shot range yet. But, you know, if I top deck maybe another energy, another Ogerpon, something like that, you know, maybe an Iono, an Arvin, something to just draw more energy in play, I could actually take down Blood Moon or Ursaluna this turn. Right now, my opponent needs 1 more energy before they could use Blood Moon, and this might be the first time I've ever seen such a full setup attack. So my opponent has 160 HP remaining. If I get both of these energy attached, I will only be doing 150, so I don't see that being too huge a benefit. I think because of that, I am just going to hold the hand, and I'm just going to use Syrup Storm, swing for another 90, put some more damage, put some more pressure down on my opponent's Blood Moon or Ursaluna. But the reason I'm saving the energy is because I know I'm taking the attack. I can live 240. That's a lot of damage, sure, but that's something I can deal with, which means that I can use Ripening Charge and start healing my Hydrapple the following turn. My opponent gets rid of Area 0 Underdepths and Knocked Owl. With the energy they're playing, you know, I kind of figured this might have been some sort of Terra Box build. I mean, Grass Energy for Teal Mask, Ogerpon, Water Energy for the, whatever the water one is. I always blank on the colors after Teal Mask, or the type. Y'all get it. Y'all get what I'm saying. They're going to swing for 240. Opponent cannot attack the following turn, but that's okay. We are going to be taking a KO this turn and getting our own Ogerpon down as well. So I think here, I mean, is it even worth using Ripening Charge? I'm actually not sure. I'm going to Teal Dance onto Ogerpon just to see if I could draw into a better card to get us going, I'll take a Nest Ball. That's fine. We'll use another Nest Ball. Get down another Applin. Or do I take... Now, this is where things get a little tricky. I was going to say I could take Applin, or I could take, like, you know, Fezandipiti, Mew, something like that, just to thin the hand a little bit, you know, draw some more cards. I think we're just going to play it safe. We're going to go in with the Applin, and I'll hold the Legacy Energy, see what my opponent can do. Yeah, I don't really want to use it as a manual attachment yet. I can take a KO with Ogerpon, or take a big attack with Ogerpon the following turn. Since I have Night Stretcher to bring some energy back, manual attach with Legacy Energy, I think it's better for us to just swing for 120 damage, take 2 prize cards, see if my opponent's got some sort of setup. They do have access to flip the script. They could draw into a 6-card hand with that plus their top deck. We'll see if that makes a difference. For now, we're just going to kind of power through Brick City and see what we've got. Now, getting Hydrapple out of the prizes and research is wildly unfortunate because I only play 3 Hydrapple in this deck. So if my active is KO'd and then I have to research just to get a playable hand, well, it's going to be a little bit before I get these Hydrapples back. Considering Night Stretcher is also in my hand, I've just got to bank on having Rod in the deck and using Rod to pull those guys out. My opponent is going to get down a Wellspring Ogerpon. Now, that would be terrifying if they actually have Sparkling Crystal in hand, too. And they can use the Torrential Pump attack to KO our active, but then also snipe the Applin on the bench, take a 3 prize card turn. That would be very devastating. We would be able to follow up with a big Ogerpon attack, though. So that is kind of nice, and we'll see what my opponent's got. They just passed there, giving it back to us. That's huge, and we'll get a bug catching set as well, actually. That is massive. So I think here we are going to play Festival Grounds. There's a good chance I'm going to research this turn, to be quite honest. Just because we still do have the bug catching set. I will take the energy out from it, and I do kind of want to try to heal our active a little bit. My opponent could do 120 damage, but if we use Ripening Charge to heal this Hydrapple, we should be able to dodge, Ogerpon's Torrential Pump, which could be pretty huge. I will attach the Legacy Energy from my hand to this Applin, just making this card worth 0 prize cards. So now if my opponent does go Torrential Pump, at least they won't be taking any prize cards here, and hopefully this Pokemon will live the attack and we'll be able to vibe a little bit easier there. Now, with a hand like this is actually pretty nice. I could go Coded Attack. You know, I don't really want to retreat. Hold up. What's the best way to do this? Definitely get another Applin down. If they start sniping Applins and Budews, that's fine. Let's evolve into a Dipplin. I don't really want to bench Mew. For now, I'm just going to Teal Dance, get another energy onto the Ogerpon. This is a great backup attacker in a match like this because many of their Pokemon will have 1 to 2 energy cards attached. I could bench this Ogerpon. I could bench Mew. I don't know which is going to help more right now. I also do kind of want to save this energy just so I do have another backup attacker. I think for now, I'm just going to Syrup Storm for 210, take the KO. We don't need to get another energy in probably right now. I'm just going to take another 2 prize cards. We're going to go up 4 against my opponent, and I have 120 HP left on my Hydrapple. So if my opponent uses Torrential Pump, this Hydrapple will take 100 damage, and they can do 120 to the bench. If they have some sort of boss's orders to move this Hydrapple back down, sure, they could take the KO. That's fine. I will hopefully just be able to get a whole bunch of energy down on Ogerpon, maybe. And then take a KO that way. So if we do use Ogerpon, because I think this is going to be the best for us to set up at this point, just because we already have 2 energy there. Or you know what? It depends. It depends if we draw into a Rod. I need Rod then Ultra Ball, though. Because I am down Night Stretcher and 2 Hydrapples. Yeah, you know what? Ogerpon's going to be the best bet. But we're going to have to hope we can pull off something huge. On top of that as well, they're going to go Countercatcher Iono. Who are you going to Countercatcher up? Actually, taking out Hydrapple here might be better for us. Just to get some more energy in the discard. You're going to take out Dipplin. Okay, that's fine. I don't have a 4th Hydrapple. So that shouldn't change too much. And you'll just take 2 prize cards, because this, we do have Legacy Energy attached to it, so this is worth 0 prize cards right now. We get Iono'd into Research Ultra Ball, which honestly might be the 2 best cards we could have drawn into. Ultra Ball isn't going to do us absolutely any favors, but it's very easy for me to research away. If I top deck Rod, and I could just bin back, you know, a bunch of Hydrapples, that would be perfect. But we'll see. My opponent is going to go for the 3 prize KO. They're not going to take any off Dipplin. They will, however, take a couple off Hydrapple. So they will be trying to make a decent comeback. And they got Blood Moon or Saluna back too. All their energy is gone. So now we're not going to get any boosted, you know, attacks with Ogerpon. We're just going to need to set up everything we can here. They got 4 prize cards left, so if I could evolve this guy into Hydrapple, close out the game with him, I think that's going to be in our best interest. We need to just make some magic happen. I am going to Teal Dance now. Draw an extra card just in case I get Rod. I would love to Rod before Research. And we get a Dipplin. You know what? I'll take it. We'll evolve into the Dipplin. I'll use the Research. If they KO my active, I'll just use Coded Attack and kind of put my opponent at a standstill. And we're going to get Superior Energy Retrieval, Ultra Ball. Alright, not bad. Not bad. I am going to Ultra Ball away Boss's Orders and Festival Grounds. And then go for Fez. Just so we could draw 3 cards. Yeah, I like that. I don't know. I needed to get a Rod. I probably should have checked if it's even in the deck. Honestly, knowing my luck, it's probably one of the last 2 prizes. I just think this will help the most here. They're going to need a bit to get going. That's huge. We're going to Rod bag all of our Hydrapples right now. Actually, you know what? How many Ultra Balls are we down? We're down 2. I do have Superior Energy Retrieval in the hand, too, so I'm actually... I don't really need to take back any energy. I think I kind of want to just get back 3 Hydrapples and just Research and pray I get one of them the following turn. So let's do that. And then I should still have a manual attachment. It's not going to help me take a KO any easier, so I'm just going to attach the energy to Dipplin. And you know what I could do? I could just retreat. And then swing with Dipplin. Because then my opponent needs some sort of gusting card and then another gusting card to put Dipplin on the bench and then bring it back to the active. I think this actually might be the best play for us. So now my opponent... they could use Noctowl, but Noctowl's only swinging for 60, and other than that, I don't know if they have any other evolution Pokemon in their deck. So our Dipplin might just be kind of hanging, and this is what I meant where I said, like, you don't need many rare candies. Using this Dipplin can really just pull you out of some weird situations, just kind of buy you a turn. And right now, since we have 3 Hydrapples in the deck, I'm going to Superior Energy Retrieval. Sadly, I won't be able to get full value out of it unless I top deck a Hydrapple, and my odds are the best of doing that right now. But then I can attach an energy to Dipplin just so I know I've got, you know, an attack if I can evolve into Hydrapple. And then I'll use another one to Teal Dance onto Ogerpon. And then after that, I'm going to hopefully draw into another Ogerpon, Teal Dance again, you know, just get some more of those energy in play. And then I'll rip the Research and pray that off that Research, you know, I'll find one of the 3 Hydrapples that I've got back in the deck. And with the amount of cards we have left, I still do have a couple bug catching sets. You know, it's not, we have 3 bug catching sets. 1 Ultra Ball, I believe. I don't know if we have a full 2. And they just pass here. Yeah, there's nothing my opponent can do with the setup we got right now. We get Ultra Ball as the top deck. That is absolutely perfect. I believe we could try to force game here. And that is something I definitely want to do. So we're going to Ultra Ball these away. I'm going to take Hydrapple out from the deck. And you know what? I guess in a situation like this, I could Superior Energy Retrieval and we could get 4 energy, but I also do want to just draw more cards. Maybe I do need 1 more card to pull this off. I mean, we play a bunch of energy in the deck. Honestly, I should be able to Research and be alright here. So we'll just pray. Yeah, this works. If this could hit some energy, that is huge. We'll also just thin out our deck as much as possible. We are going to Nest Ball. I have 2 spots left. I'm not going to be able to... A lot of these cards are going to be dead cards for the most part. So getting Mew is not going to help me at all here. I'm just going to pull out another Ogerpon. We do have Ripening Charge. We're going to have 3 Teal Dances. If I could hit a couple energy here, that would be massive. And we are going to hit 2 energy. Huge. All right. I don't know if that's the KO, though. I'm not even going to try to do the math until I have finished, you know, setting up absolutely everything I possibly could. I'm going to try to spread these energy as much as possible. Just get them across different Ogerpons, maybe. Although I don't mind having all of them here, just to draw some extra cards. That's huge, that bug catching set. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna bank on hitting an energy off that because that's never, you know, punished me before. And then I could fully set up an Ogerpon and do everything I was talking about. We'll use bug catching set. Give me hopefully the energy needed. Yep, there we go. And we'll take a Hydrapple just for good measure. And we're actually swinging 210 right now, so I didn't even need this energy. We'll attach it just in case, swing 240, wrap it up against Terrabox. And this is what I mean about Hydrapple. It's just such a good card right now, especially with that Dipplin that just locks out basics. There's not much you can do. I think the only thing I'm really, at this point, I haven't played the deck enough to know if this Applin is better. I just like it because I can search for Pokemon, and if I'm using Applin's attack, I'm kind of cooked regardless. And I feel like once the deck gets going, you've got so much draw with the abilities, with research, with Iono. It's not too hard to get more Applins down, as you guys saw. So we're going to go 1-0 in match number 1. Let's hop into match number 2 and see if we can cook whatever we're up against next in that one. Welcome to match number 2. We are going to open up with the mulligan. If I had a basic Pokemon in this hand, we would have cooked our opponent. And I also forgot to mention I am wearing the blanket just because I'm a little chilly. And I figured I might as well just stay comfortable, have a good time. We're going to lead Applin. I do have Ultra Ball, Iono, some energy in hand. Honestly, this is a fine starting hand. I mean, we got one Applin. I can Ultra Ball, get out something else. We're up against Raging Bolt. So this is a deck I can honestly just lock out with Dipplin. And I'm going to try to do that as well as I can. So I'm just going to Ultra Ball away Counter Catcher and Iono here. I'll keep the Hydrapple just in case. We've got 2 coded attack Dipplins. I'm going to take another Applin and just hope my opponent can't KO both of them at once. I'm just going to check the deck. I got, another 2 Ultra Balls, and I got 3 Bug Catching sets, plenty of energy. If we could just find... Honestly, if my opponent KOs one of these Applins, and I'll put the energy on the active one just to entice this to be KO'd. And then we have another energy to attach to this guy. But if they take a KO on the active, and then we can get the other Dipplin out after we research. You know, unless my opponent is playing some sort of Knockdown build, which they are. I was going to say we'll just lock out their entire deck, but I don't know if they're going to want to be swinging with Knockdown. And honestly, we might be able to buy just enough time where that's okay, just using that Dipplin, you know, to get us another Hydrapple in play. I don't know if my opponent's going to want to go for that Knockdown setup. I mean, sure, they could do 60 damage. If we could set up a Hydrapple in the back end, we could just heal that almost instantly off, you know, a Dipplin. And my opponent is actually going to lose Prime Catcher and Jamming Tower, as well as a Sato off that Squad Concedes. There are a lot of critical cards. If they don't have a Sato in hand, that Raging Bull is not going to be doing much. We will be left with an Applin in the active spot, and there are 2 energy hitting the discard pile, as well as another Raging Bull. Now they could actually have a perfect Sato, where they get, yeah, there it is. They get 1 fighting energy on one electric energy on the other. They're still down their A-Spec, which is kind of nice. We'll have to figure out something about that, but for now, you know what? We're going to get the job done. We're going to do what we can. They got another Nest Ball to get down a Fan Rotom. They could use Fan Rotom to pull out Knockdown, and that Knockdown is looking like the most lethal attacker in my opponent's Raging Bolt deck. Now, some Raging Bolt decks are opting to include this Knockdown line. I was hoping that if we matched against one, it wasn't, because if they don't play Knockdown, there's really nothing this deck can do to win, but... You know, you win some, you lose some. Some work perfectly, some don't. My opponent needs another energy in hand, however, if they want to take the KO, and they cannot handle that. They are just going to be passing for turn, and we get Ultra Ball, which, honestly, I think I'm going to use here. I don't mind losing an energy or Hydrapple. We could bring both of those back with Rod, Night Stretcher, you know, plenty of options. I think I just want to guarantee the coded attack. Since my opponent is down Prime Catcher especially, you know, they're not going to be able to go Prime Catcher Boss's Orders. They're going to need something much, much bigger. So we're going to be able to just lock him out for a turn, you know, get a research down, hopefully get some more Pokemon in play that could save us a little bit. We got Night Stretcher to bring us back a, what do you call it? A Hydrapple the following turn. That's pretty awesome. We got Mew, Fez in hand. Not game-changing yet. We could use Mew to copy Bellowing Thunder, funny enough, which could work very well in our favor. So I'm going to hold on to this hand. Not going to bench anything right now. I really don't want any 2 prize liabilities in play. I think here all I want to do is smack an energy down on maybe this Applin, and then just use coded attack. You know, my opponent is not in the best of spot. They're not going to be able to take a KO this turn on my active. They could boss KO Applin. It's not going to do much either. I'm sure they're going to see that if they don't start using this Knockdown, there's really much they can do. Knockdown, like I said, only swinging for 60. It's not going to happen this turn. If I could get another Hydrapple down at some point and just start healing up this Dipplin like every turn, you know, deal with this Knockdown, I think that's going to be the best way for us to play it. And I'm sure they'll get down, yep, another, you probably play like a 2-2 Knockdown line, maybe a 3-3, although that's a lot of space in a Raging Bolt deck. You know, I don't know if they're built like that. So we'll see where this manual attachment goes. We'll see what our opponent is worried about. They'll Teal Dance onto Ogerpon, Raging Bolt, Squawk. None of these attackers I'm too worried about. It's really just a Knockdown here. Even Fan Rotom is not going to do much. So they'll get the second energy down on Raging Bolt. And I'm curious to see if they even go Burst Roar, because what we could do is just try to buy enough time and stall them out, but no, they're going to boss up Applin, take a KO on our benched Applin, so we're left with 1 Pokemon in the active spot. Now, I don't know if I want to go to Night Stretcher for Hydrapple. I really don't know if I want to run that Fade. I kind of want to just keep some more pressure. There's no energy down on this Knockdown yet, so I don't feel a massive pressure to get it down at the moment. If we research, we're going to lose a lot of energy. But I don't hate a Night Stretcher, you know, and just threaten another Applin. I could keep the energy on the active. Just start loading this guy up. I could bench Fez, could bench Mew. Maybe at this point in the game I do. You know, and if they have a boss KO, they got a boss KO. It's probably likely that they might. Especially with Knockdown, they could just search it out. That's fine. We're going to run it. We're going to run the fade. We got research. We're going to research away our hand. We do get our rare candy, so we could go into a Hydrapple next turn, possibly. We got a Nest Ball, and I'm probably going to use this Nest Ball for... I'm between Ogerpon or just another Applin. And just try to establish ourselves a little more. I think I'm going to go Applin just because we can bug catching set into an Ogerpon here, which I really don't mind getting down just for some more energy acceleration. And we'll hit Ogerpon Budew. I'm not going to bench Budew. It's just going to sit in the hand and take up space. However, I will bench the Ogerpon, and then I can flip the script, draw 3. And I like that line. Because then we'll start setting up Ogerpon 2 on the back end with Teal Dance. We'll draw into a bunch of cards here. Love the Festival Grounds. Love, love, love the Festival Grounds. I could play that. Try to limit my opponent's bench. It would go down to 1. I don't know if that's something I need to do right now, if I'm going to wait a turn. Maybe do the wave. You know, take a huge KO that way, actually. That would be pretty funny. I think I am going to wait and just see. So we'll Teal Dance here. Get one more energy into play onto Ogerpon. And then I'm going to use Bug Catching Set now that my hand is one, or my deck is 1 card thinner. And I'm going to draw into another Applin. Isn't bad. Neither is 2 energy, though. And I think with a hand like this, I do want to go 2 energy. Right? If they take a KO, I got flipped the script. I do like also having a restart. Ogerpon is kind of essential because our hand is kind of dead. We might need to draw into something. You know what? I think I'm just going to take 1 energy, 1 Ogerpon. And I'll use another Teal Dance. I don't mind having 2 Ogerpons down at this point because right now we've just got so many liabilities. They could win the game with enough gusting cards, so it doesn't really matter if we get one more. And we'll get a Nest Ball for another Applin or something, maybe? I don't know. I don't mind thinning here. I kind of want to just fly through my deck, you know, get stuff going. If they bump the stadium, they bump the stadium. It's not the end of the world. I don't necessarily want to take another Ogerpon, though. I think I kind of want to just take an Applin here because I don't want to use both these energy. I want 1 for Teal Dance, 1 for the manual attach. So I think here, do I go Pal Pad? I like Pal Pad. 1 research, 1 Iono is kind of sweet. Just allows me to draw through my deck a little bit more. Increases my chances of getting a solid top deck. I'll take either of those right now. And then with them, I'll be able to get going a little bit easier. You know, draw into a different hand, especially in Iono. If they take a Gust boss, you know, if they go boss's orders, bring up Fez, bring up Mew, even Ogerpon, something like that. I really don't mind in a situation like this. You know, they'll go up prizes, but hopefully they'll have to extend so many resources just to work around the Dipplin, you know. And then they can't Sada or anything like that if they're going boss's orders. And they got the Ultra Ball. They could get out the second Knockdown, but until we start seeing manual attachments on Knockdown, I'm not too worried. And they'll get rid of another Ultra Ball too. That's fine. Yeah, you got Jewel Seeker. That's fine. You'll go boss's orders. You'll probably take out Fezandipiti. And I'll have to figure something out, but that's all right. You know, that's kind of how this deck operates. You know, we're going to run you low on resources. I'm just going to spam coded attack until I'm in a situation where I can start one-shotting a whole bunch of 2-prize Pokemon one after the other. And they're going to Jewel Seeker fail it. I don't know what they were looking for, but my opponent must have been complete and utterly stuck. I mean, maybe they prized the boss's orders. They didn't have a gusting card they could take. I'm not too sure. But I felt good. You know, I felt good that over the next couple turns, you know, we were just locking them out of attacking. That's why this is so powerful. You know, you lock your opponent out of attacking, they can't use Sada. You know, they're not getting the energy needed on Knockdown. There's really nothing they could do for turns. So you're just sitting there and waiting for your time to shine. You know, we're getting those Applin on the bench. We're waiting to evolve those into Dipplin, which we had the Dipplin and Festival leads too. You know, like in hand. So we had a solid single prize attacker that was going to swing much harder and take, honestly, I think if we switched into, you know, retreated, or used a switch card into that Festival leads Dipplin, we actually might have been able to KO Raging Bolt that turn too, which would have been really interesting to see. So regardless, match number 2, a chip. So now we're 2-0 for the day. Let's hop into match number 3 and see if we can get ourselves the perfect record with Hydrapple EX. Welcome to match number 3. My opponent is playing Gardevoir EX. Now this match could get very difficult because they are able to one-shot Hydrapple EX, but that being said, we also have access to some phenomenal single prize Pokemon that could really create some tricky situations for my opponent, such as the Festival leads Dipplin that could potentially take 2 KOs on a bunch of their Pokemon, which I do love to get down. And we open up with honestly a solid hand here. I think with the hand like this, we go bug catching set, see what I draw into. No, we Teal Dance first. First and foremost, let's Teal Dance. Let's get that out of the way. And then I thin one card out of my deck, and now we bug catching set, and we see what we got going. We're going to take a Festival Lead Dipplin as well as a Grass Energy. We're not going to hit any other Pokemon there, and I know people are saying, oh, but that's why you play the Grass Applin for a turn like this. There wasn't even a Dragon Applin in those top 7, so it's like, you know, we got Ultra Ball, we could get out an Applin right now, and I think that's kind of what I want to do. I think I want to get rid of this Dipplin, because Coded Attack, I mean, it could be huge, you know, stop like Screamtails and Driftbloom, from its, well, at least Screamtails from attacking this guy, not anyone else, but nothing after that. So I am just going to take one Applin here with Find a Friend. And then we got Iono for next turn to beef up our bench. We got the Stadium, the Dipplin, the Energy already in hand. So I'll attach an Energy to this Applin too, just to see what my opponent's got in store. We've got the Retreat, and then we got another Teal Dance. We got the Evolution Stadium, Iono. Yeah, we're good. We're good to go. So my opponent is now going to take their turn. They're going to need something big, you know, they're going to need some sort of Buddy Puff, and they're going to need a couple Ralts down, because if they don't, and we could get a full bench, I mean, we'll take out Mew and go up 2 prize cards, or, you know, they'll retreat into a Ralts, into something that's not a 2 prize Pokemon, like Budew. That could be annoying. But it's also very easy for us to deal with Budew, you know, and Monkey Dory. Yeah, we could take 2 prize cards off many of these Pokemon. Even just getting damage done on Mew just makes it easier for us to clean up later with another Festival Lead Dipplin, you know. This might not even be a Hydrapple match. But across game number 1, game number 2, I'm excited to have shown off the power and bulk of Hydrapple. But then also, like, you know, the power of this Dipplin right here, which I don't think many Hydrapple lists opt to include. This is why I'm playing a 2-2 line of them. You know, we don't need to play off our Hydrapple. I don't even mind getting a 3rd Festival Grounds in a deck like this. And they're going to Bravery Charm Ralts up. Oh, yeah, they want to protect that thing. They want to protect that thing hard. They're going to restart for 1. That Bravery Charm is going to be a whole lot more useless where it is right now. And we'll see what my opponent has in store for the rest of their hand. I'd hate to Iono them to 6. Oh my god, they're going to Bravery Charm Research. Okay, this feels a little bit better. They're down 2 charms. They might not play 3rd, which could greatly limit, you know, the power of Drifloon, the power of Screamtails, kind of allow Hydrapple to stay in play a little bit longer, maybe use some Ripening Charge to make it take 3 shots to KO. My opponent's going to get that easy free retreat into Budew, use that attack, Itchy Pollen, put us under item lock. So now we're under a little bit more pressure, and I draw into another Dipplin, which isn't going to change anything. I will just play Festival Grounds. I'm going to Teal Dance, see if I draw into anything playable before I then retreat, put an energy in the discard pile, and Iono. And I get another Festival Ground. I don't mind putting that on the bottom of the deck, since our Festival Lead Dipplin, our other one, is also there as well. And we will draw into a decent hand, except for the fact that we don't have another way to get an Applin down. If we had Nest Ball, you know, if we could use our items, that would be huge. But sadly, I don't. So I'm just going to throw Dipplin up, and we are just going to do the wave for 40. And since Festival Grounds in play, I will get some solid chip damage done onto another Pokemon. Although, is that what I want to do? I don't even know, to be honest. Right? Because if I do 40 damage to someone, do I have to? Because then they could just Monkey Dory it. And I really don't feel like dealing with that. I think, actually, since we're not taking a KO here, I'm just going to pass. And just give it to my opponent. I really don't want to do anything more than we already have. Excuse me, I don't know why at the start of this recording I'm starting to get a whole lot more sick. Like, I'm getting all congested and everything. That's weird, I apologize. But we'll see what my opponent's got. They're going to need a Rare Candy Gardevoir if they want to pull off a crazy play. And, I mean, that could be possible. There's 3 energy in the discard pile. They got the Night Stretcher back for Budew. And it seems they might just put us under item lock again. I'm not that afraid of that. You know, I'll just Iono. I actually am tempted to research this hand away. And no, they're going to Iono us. Okay, so if we get Hydrapple here, we'll just start swinging big. I mean, they're down 2 Bravery Charms. I'll use all the abilities I can. This is a great hand to research away. I mean, sure, we're going to lose Night Stretcher. I'll get value out of Night Stretcher. I'll pull out an energy. We got 2 Teal Dances. With the 2 Grass Energy we'll have from Night Stretcher, and then this right here, we have a Legacy Energy to manual attach to Dipplin. Then we just research. And if we get Hydrapple, awesome. If not, hopefully we get a bunch of basic Pokemon, and we could use those to just take a big KO on Mew EX, you know, or we Festival Leads, and we try to deal with something else some other way, I guess. Yeah, you know what, if they don't, because this Charm is here, we actually might not be able to KO Mew if we don't get Hydrapple down. That could be a little annoying, but not the end of the world. My opponent's going to Vessel. My opponent is going to Vessel take some time to get a card out of their hand. They're going to get rid of Nest Ball, probably pull out a Dark and a Psychic Energy if I had to take a guess, and it seems I will be right. They could get another Monkey Dory down. Okay, my allergies are officially killing me. I'm sorry. They do get the Monkey Dory down, as well as Rare Candy Gardevoir with the restart for 1. They got the Dark Energy attached, and there's 3 Psychic Energy in the discard pile. So they could Genome Hacking. You know, and they actually might take the KO if they... Oh my god, would they take the KO if they did that? That would be ridiculous. They would, because they got 2, 4, 6, 8. Yep. They would. I'm curious to see if they go in with the Monkey Dory, if they just take the KO with Mew, and then we could maybe take a return KO with an Ogerpon. I mean, neither play is great. Sadly, I was not able to get down another Applin, and that's not going to affect... Yeah, no, they're just going to go into Mew. Just Genome Hacking, do the wave, swing for 80. They're not going to get access to our ability, so it's not like they'll be attacking twice, but attacking once is annoying enough. Lucky for us, we do have Legacy Energy in hand, so one of these Ogerpons is going to become a menacing single prize attacker very, very fast, and it's going to be the Ogerpon that, actually, that probably is the Ogerpon I have to attack with, so that's annoying, but it's cool. You know, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm dying. Yeah, they're going to spread the energy, actually, so it doesn't really matter which Ogerpon we promote now. I think since this guy has the energy, we'll promote this. It's just a Teal Dance, Manual Attach, Legacy, and figure something out. Now, though, I might Night Stretcher, bring back an Applin just to get it down. I think that might help us a little bit more, so we'll do that. We'll bring this guy back. We've got 3 energy in the discard pile, but we do have Superior Energy Retrieval in the deck, I believe. Yeah, so we could get access to that whenever we need. Let's Teal Dance here. Smack down an energy. Then we'll Manual Attach a Legacy Energy. Get the Rare Candy. Sadly, I am going to research that away. I'm just going to Manual Attach. Use Bug Catching Set. Pull out 1 more energy so that we can, you know, go in with another Ogerpon. Just get these energies spread as nicely as possible. And then research and see where the wind takes us. We got a Nest Ball. That's cool. Get down another Applin. Helps us out a bit on the evolution side of things. I'm sorry. All of a sudden, I am getting hammered. Just sneezing fit after sneezing fit out of nowhere. So we're going to research. Draw into a bit of a bigger hand. We do have Nest Ball. We could get Fezandipiti down, which I do kind of love here. I do want to draw into a bit of a bigger hand. We did lose Rare Candies. So it's going to be a little bit before we get down a Hydrapple. But I think that's okay with what we got. You know, we could go in with the Ogerpons for a couple turns. We could use, you know, Festival Lead Dipplin. Always feels pretty good in that. We could set up next turn. We got 2 Applins. Could take a couple sneaky KOs that way. And I'll be taking a huge KO that... Oh, actually... Oh my god, we're swinging 210. Tell me I'm just short. Oh no. Oh gosh. That's not good. Alright. So how do we do this? How do we do this? Now, if they want... They could totally KO us. No, yeah, they could 100% KO us. Oh my gosh. With Myriad Leaf Shower. So maybe... Do we just go in with Budew? They got no energy in the discard pile. We could just go in with Budew and just keep them under item lock for a turn. Ah, that hurts so much. I think that's going to be our line, though. Just Itchy Pollen. We'll get rid of an energy here. If I swung for KO, I would have done it. Sadly, we were not able to get there. And I'll keep our energy in hand so we could use some Teal Dances the following turn. Or maybe that's when I go in with Dipplin and just use that Festival Ground again. However, we are also down 2 Dipplin, so I'm gonna have to get the Dipplin that locks out basics from attacking after this. It really depends what my opponent's got in their hand. If they get like a Brilliant Blender or something this turn, we're gonna be in trouble because they can use Psychic Embrace and then take a KO on Budew with Monkey Dory, and we'll have to promote like Applin or something so they can't use MeWX to KO it. They'll get a Scream Tails down. That causes a little bit of problems. Luckily, our Pokemon that have damage on them, our 2 prize Pokemon, are teared up. So my opponent cannot Scream Tails and damage them. However, that Fez is a 2 prize liability sitting on the bench. And we'll see, you know, if my opponent plays another Bravery Charm. They do have 1 Psychic Energy in the discard pile. They could use Psychic Embrace, attach that to Mew. And they could use Monkey Dory to take the KO on Budew. And if they do that, they won't have any other way to set up other Pokemon that I see right now. They're just going to use the Adrenaline Brain as we see it. So I would just promote Applin at this point. And I think, yeah, that's what they're going to try to do. Is just, put us under item lock with Itchy Pollen. Okay, you know what? That's actually alright. Because now I could take this KO with, oh my god, we got Festival Ground too. Oh yeah, we hold the hand. We definitely hold the hand. And we do have the KO with the Ogerpon. I could use Boss and take out something like Screamtails. Oh, wait. Is that the play? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because then we could attack twice, right? I use Boss, bring up Screamtail, swing for KO, but then anything they promote after that, we're kind of cooked. You know, I'm just going to leave this Dipplin on the back end. I'm going to use Teal Dance. Going to get an energy down here. I kind of want to just deal with their active. They could snipe this tip. Oh, I love Iono here so much. Oh my gosh. We do need this manual attach here. And then I'm going to Iono my opponent. Just give us both a new hand. I am losing Festival Leads. I'm losing Boss. That's fine. I really just want to find another Dipplin. So if they Screamtails one Dipplin, I can evolve into Hydrapple. Because I think at this point, if I get Hydrapple down and I'm in a really, really good spot, we get another energy. That's pretty sweet. So I could Teal Dance, and then I can use Bug Catching Set and hopefully find what I'm looking for. Now, our hand is pretty solid. We get another Ogerpon. All right, that's cool. Nope, we're item locked. All right, that's fine. That's all right. We'll retreat. Leave Budew there. That's a Monkey Dory target that my opponent's got. Nothing I can do about that. That's fine. We can Myriad Leaf Shower for 240. That Bravery Charm on the Mew. Although it seemed like it was waste earlier, did become wildly relevant as the game came on. And we're taking a 2-prize KO, putting us a good bit ahead. So now, I think, in terms of prize trade, my opponent definitely wants to KO Ogerpon here. However, in terms of, like, stopping me from playing the game, I only play one Rare Candy, and it's sitting in our discard pile. If they go Screamtails and KO Dipplin, we're gonna hurt. We're gonna be hurting. And I will gladly turn this into an Ogerpon deck, you know, for the back half. That's why I like how versatile this deck is. You know, we'll lose our other Festival Lead Dipplin. I'll definitely need to find Rod and bring both of them back, just because they're gonna be awesome single prizers to close out the game. Especially when we've got one Stadium still in the deck at this point. So my opponent's got 6 cards. They don't have any sort of draw engine. They're just going to go Counter Catcher, bring up Fezandipiti, which is a very easy attach retreat for us. But if we do that, we can't use Do the Wave, which is unfortunate, but it's fine. As long as we can play the game, I really can't complain about any more than that. I can use Bug Catching Set and try to just pull out another Dipplin and Hydrapple. Even if I can't use this Do the Wave, hopefully I can kind of find a Rod a little bit. You know, at some point, get something else, get another, you know, Dipplin set up with Do the Wave. I don't know. We'll see. I want a 2-prize medicine play after both Bravery Charms have been ripped. I don't know if they play a third, and if they play a third and they put that much effort into KOing Hydrapple, so be it. We'll rock. For now, I just want Hydrapple down so that I can start healing the damage off these Ogerpons. Even Budew. Actually, nah, I don't really care if it's on Budew, to be fair. I would just heal the Hydrapple, especially, I don't know if I would put any more into this guy. I think I just heal this guy first. You know, put him at full HP, 3 energy, and make him a solid attacker. I don't want to put all my eggs on this Ogerpon's basket, because when that thing does get KO'd, we're going to be in trouble. So my opponent is going to flip the script. They got some energy in the discard pile. They can easily Psychic Embrace and start using their Monkey Dories to take out Budews. You know, maybe start sniping down another Pokemon. We'll see. They can start targeting Applin. You know, that would be kind of problematic. Yeah, they get rid of a Psychic Energy, take out 2 more. Luckily for us, we do have Iono in hand. So if my opponent does something crazy, you know, we'll figure it out. They're going to go Secret Box. So yeah, they are definitely going to do something crazy. We'll get 2 more energy down. And they're not playing the Brilliant Blender I was talking about. But Secret Box is going to get them what they need. They go Night Stretcher, Bravery Charm. They do play a Bravery Charm. They are going to get a whole bunch more damage down onto Screamtails. They're probably going to chase down Fez, if I had to take a guess. Unless they misplay. If they forget about the Terror Rule and they go to this Ogerpon just to limit our energy, that would be honestly hilarious. Kind of problematic, but very funny. Now, my opponent can do a whole lot this turn for sure, too. They could actually take 3 prize cards this turn. Drop down to 2. Oh, that's so bad. Yeah, it is actually really rough for us if that is the route they go. Gosh, they don't have any more Bravery Charms, though. There's no way they play 4, right? They might. That's the thing about this deck. I don't know the Gardevoir list perfectly. They legitimately might. But what they could do is Monkey Dory, take some damage off this guy, smack it on Budew, and they could use the other Monkey Dory, put some damage on one of these 2-prize Pokemon. They could swing onto the active, take 2 prize cards there. Although, you know what? They can't remove much damage from Screamtails, because then it won't KO Fezandipiti. Yeah, they're just going to move 1, take the KO on Budew. And right now they're swinging for only 180 damage, which isn't enough. But they could use Psychic Embrace again. No, they're going to Roaring Scream. Oh, no. They're going to put it on this guy, aren't they? Yes, they are. Oh, that's a bad misplay. Well, we're going to punish our opponent for that. We are going to punish our opponent on that for sure. Yeah, they hit me with the thumbs down emoji that is behind the screen at the moment. I am going to bench this Ogerpon because at this point, might as well, right? And then we will use... I do need an energy to attach Retreat. I might as well just guarantee that. Right? Because we don't have a switch out in this deck, which is okay. That's fine. And then I think we Ultra Ball away an Iono and an Applin. I'm going to take out Hydrapple. I like Hydrapple. It feels right. Yeah. We could draw into this Dipplin at some point. We don't have many cards left in the deck. I got an Iono plus 2 bug catching sets. Festival Ground is going to be wildly overpowered, or do the wave I should say, but also 330 HP at this point when my opponent has such limited resources is also going to be game changing. So we'll bug catching set here, see if I can draw into some energy and Dipplin. That's perfect. And now I can evolve this Dipplin, just in case I can get another Hydrapple down. And we'll use Ripening Charge to... I'm just going to heal up this guy, I think. Right? Because then we got 2 setup attackers. Yeah, that works, that works. I guess, you know what? Because I had Ripening Charge, I could have used that as my attachment here. But I like the healing. The healing is good. We'll see if I can pull energy out of this. If I can't, I'm just going to choose to fail it. I don't pull anything. I could have gotten an Applin, you know, for those people wondering if the Grass Applin is better, but it's not going to do me any favors in this scenario, so I'm just going to Iono, give myself a new hand, and then, yeah, I'll just flip the script and figure something out. What do we got in here? We got a couple Iono, all of our Iono actually in research. Our boss's orders isn't here. I am tempted to Pal Pad back a couple Iono. I want to flip the script first. I'd rather do that after boss's orders, and we just get a Ultra Ball is huge, because that's a Hydrapple right now. That works. That works perfectly for me. I am going to promote this Ogerpon because it's only worth 1 prize card. Right. I mean, it's easy for my opponents to KO, but to be fair, so is anything with Monkey Dory Gardevoir. So yeah, let's throw this guy up. It's worth 1 prize. And we'll swing 300. It's crazy. We'll take a prize. So now if my opponent goes Gardevoir, we could try to take the KO next turn, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to take 1 prize card here. Superior Energy Retrieval is going to be a must when this thing falls, and we get an energy down in the hand that's big. That's huge. All right, we're going to need what? We got Ripening Charge. We got 2 Teal Dances, Nest Ball for the 3rd Teal Dance, that's 4. We got a Manual Attach, that's 5 energy on top of 3 energy, that would be 8. Then 9, we're swinging 270, I believe, right now. Ah, we're close. Another Hydrapple would put us at 300. But to be fair, if they just get 3 energy down on Monkey Dory and then use double Adrenabrain, yeah, we're still stuck. All right. I'll see if we can... Do we play Night Stretcher? We did. Okay. Huh. And a boss isn't... Actually, a boss could save me, because they just have Fezandipiti on the bench. So we might be able to work around the Gardevoir EX. So I'm going to try to not play the research. That is why I saved the Pal Pad. I didn't want to load the deck because I didn't know what I needed to look for. And I forgot we actually don't play 3 Iono. We play 4. I forgot. There's a consistency build. We want every draw supporter possible. Arvin, sure, gets us a couple cards. Research Iono. Yeah, that's how you build a deck. My opponent's got 6 cards left. They do have the Psychic Embrace for KO, but it's only going to buy them 1 prize card. It's not going to do all the magic they need. If they take a KO, we got top deck 1, we got flip the script for 3, we're drawing minimum 4 cards a turn. However, I will be using Nest Ball and Ultra Ball before that, just to make sure I'm thinning my deck as much as possible. We play 2 bosses orders in this list. I want to make sure I can find them if possible, and make my odds the best they can be. So my opponent is going to start using that Psychic Embrace, getting some energy down on the Gardevoir EX. That Miracle Force, I mean, 190 is all they need. They only need 170. You know, they'll have 60 damage done, but they got 2 Monkey Dories of Dark Energy. They can put the 60 damage, honestly, probably on Ogerpon. But they also need, like, a Boss's Orders or something, so that they take 2 prize cards this turn, because we could potentially win this turn, and if they don't take 2 prize cards this turn, they're still going to need 2 KOs somehow, whether it's Monkey Dories or whatever they do, whatever they choose to, and they're going to chase down Dipplin. That's smart. That's smart. I respect it. I mean, we're still going to look for that Ultra Ball. We're still going to look for that evolution. You know, that KO with Hydrapple EX. I could even evolve that and start attaching to that guy just to heal as well. I don't know, we'll see. First, let me see if I can get Boss's Orders and just get the KO and Fez before I worry about which Hydrapple, you know, is the play. And I'll use Teal Dances too before flip the script. I mean, we'll just do everything possible in there. But the Legacy Energy goes into play. We got a whole bunch of energy in the discard pile. 8, though. Oh my gosh, yeah, we 100% need that superior energy retrieval. We're going to throw up Hydrapple. I'm going to try to close the game out this turn. Although, you know what? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. No, we're too far. It would be easier for us to take the KO and Fez with Hydrapple, then use Ogerpon to take the KO on Gardevoir. So let's just promote this guy here. We're going to try to close the game out this turn, for sure. What do we got? Perfect top deck. Oh my lord. Alright, let's use Nest Ball. We're going to need another Ogerpon for sure. And I'm going to check. Actually, we only have Applin in the deck. Ugh. We got 2 Boss and Rod. It's pretty big, actually. If we get Rod drawn to some more energy. I'm going to play the Nest Ball. I am going to take the Applin down just to thin the deck. That is an energy that could be essential, though. I mean, if we 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, then evolve this guy 21. Actually, no, we'll be all right. Yeah, we'll just thin here. We'll thin here. And then we will go Superior Energy Retrieval. We're going to get rid of Festival Grounds and Mew EX. I guess I could have played Mewtwo to draw cards, but I'm hoping I could just get the job done with all this. That might have been a little smart. I just wanted to thin the deck 1 card, honestly. Okay. We're fine. We're good. Let's use Ogerpon. We need a Ripening Charge and Manual attached to active, first and foremost. And then we got, yeah, we should have enough energy still to double Teal Dance plus flip the script. So now we got Hydrapple set up, and we're swinging for what? Just to keep my math. We need 1 more energy, and we got the Boss KO on Fez. Here it is. We got 7 cards in the deck. We got 2 Teal Dances, plus a flip the script. We're seeing 5 cards, and we get it right there. Huge, right? We're swinging 210. Yeah, good night. Good night, Streaks. Game's lagging a little bit. There's the Fezandipiti. Don't even have to worry about the Gardevoir. We don't need to flip the script, use the other Teal Dance. All we got to do, Syrup Storm for KO. Now, Gardevoir is a hard deck to play against, but Hydrapple's got the technology to do it. That's 3-0. With your lad, Hydrapple. I think, honestly, it's kind of a fun rogue deck to run right now. I would consider looking into it. You know, it's something a little different. We got a lot of value out of that Ogerpon this game, that's for sure. This was definitely an odd 2 matches. I think the middle match we just locked out well, which is a good line with this deck. Match number 1, Brick versus Brick. Who got out of it first? We did. Match number 3, we just bullied Gardevoir EX with a mess of attackers that they had to work around. You know, that Terra misplay was pretty big. I honestly still think we had game, even if they did take the KO on Fez. I don't think it would have changed much for them. I think they would have just had 1 prize card remaining, or 2 instead of 4 there, or 3. I don't remember what they were at, but either way, I think we still had enough turns that we would have been alright, even losing that Ogerpon. You know, we had Rob, we had Superior Energy Retrieval, we didn't use Flip the Script or the other Teal Dance. Like, we easily could have drawn into those. Yeah, this deck is crazy right now. Definitely give it a go. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay epic. Peace.